In the previous lecture, we talked about the functions of organizational culture, and also we identified the dysfunctional aspects of organizational culture, especially a strong one on an organization's effectiveness. Now, let's move on. Here, we are going to identify the factors that create and sustain an organization's culture. As we know, an organization's culture doesn't pop out of thin air, and once established, it rarely fades away. So, what influences the creation of a culture, and what reinforces and sustains it once in place? Let's get started. An organization's customs, traditions, and the general way of doing things are largely due to what it has done before and how successful it was in doing it. This leads us to the ultimate source of an organization's culture, the founders. Founders have a vision of what the organization should be, and the firm's initial small size make it easy to impose that vision on all members. Culture creation occurs in three ways. First, founders hire and keep only employees who think and feel the same way as they do. Second, they socialize employees to their way of thinking and feeling. And finally, the founder's own behavior encourages employees to identify with them and internalize their beliefs, values, and assumptions. When the organization succeeds, the founders' personalities become embedded in the culture. For example, founders with sustaining impact on their organization's culture include Bill Gates at Microsoft, Fred Smith at FedEx, and Richard Branson at the Virgin Group. When the culture is in place, practices with the organization maintain it by giving employees a set of similar experiences. The selection process, performance evaluation criteria, training and development activities, and promotion procedures ensure those hired fit in with the culture, reward those employees who support it, and penalize or even expel those who challenge it. Three forces play a particularly important part in sustaining a culture: selection practice, actions of top management, and socialization methods. Let's look at each. The goal of the selection process is to identify and hire individuals with the knowledge, skills, and abilities to perform successfully. The final decision identifies people whose values are consistent with at least a good portion of the organizations. The selection process also provides information to applicants. Those who perceive a conflict between their values and those of the organization can remove themselves from the applicant pool. Selection thus becomes a two-way street, allowing employer and applicant to avoid a mismatch and sustaining an organization's culture by removing those who may attack or undermine its core values, for better or worse. The actions of top management have a major impact on the organization's culture. Through words and behavior, senior managers establish norms that filter through the organization about, for instance, whether risk-taking is desirable, how much freedom managers give to employees, what is appropriate dress, and what actions earn pay raises, promotions, and other rewards. The culture of supermarket chain Wegmans, which believes in driven, happy and loyal employees are more eager to provide excellent customer service, as a direct result of the beliefs of the Wegman family. Top management at a company believes in taking care of employees to enhance their satisfaction and loyalty. For example, Wegmans has paid more than 90 million in educational scholarships for more than 28,000 employees. Top management also supports above average pay for employees, which results in annual turnover for full-time employees at 4%, where the individual average is 24%. Wegmans regularly appears on Fortune's 100 Best Companies to Work For list, in large measure because top management sustains the positive organizational culture begun by its founding members. No matter how good a job the organization does in recruiting and selection, new employees need help adapting to the organizational culture. That help is socialization. Socialization can help relieve the problem many employees report that their new jobs are different than expected. This will be thought as a newcomer socialization, which has an impact on the new employee's work productivity, commitment to the organization's objectives, and the decision to stay with the organization. So, when you as an individual think about joining an organization, you will go through various stages. The first stage is the pre-arrival stage, and in this stage, you are definitely an outsider. You are just gathering information. You are finding out how big is the company and where are the office located. Maybe how long is the CEO being in this position? How many layers of management are there? To gathering all sort of information. And you are starting to form what is called a psychological contract. You are starting to form expectations of what it will be like to work there. And you have some expectation of what you will get in return for working there. For example, most new employees will expect Nike to be dynamic and exciting, and the stock brokerage firm to be high in pressure and rewards. How accurately people judge an organization's culture before they join the organization and how proactive their personalities are become critical predictors of how well they adjust. So, let's say you go and you interview and you are actually hired. You arrive with a set of values, attitudes, and expectations about both the work and the organization. You then enter the second stage of socialization, which is the encounter stage. Here, you are truly a newcomer, and you just testing expectations. Maybe you see a couple of people coming in late to work, and you think yourself, oh, they didn't seem to be getting into much trouble for coming in late. I will push the boundaries a little bit and come in late myself and see if maybe that's okay. In the encountered stage, we also tend to encounter some serious reality shock. Maybe the job is not at all what you thought it was. Maybe you thought that outside sales meant going on appointments that some sort of sales manager had made for you. Got you the list and you just went. and then so close the sale. Whereas when you show up, they may say, okay, in the pavement, you do a door-to-door cold sales. You think to yourself, oh my God, I had no idea as we pounding the pavement like this. And this is not at all what I thought this job is going to be like. This is reality shock. If you were able to overcome reality shock and navigate the expectations that you started to test, you will then enter the stage called metamorphosis stage. In this stage, you truly are an insider. Now your rules and behavior change. You may realize that you don't get in trouble for showing up late, but the other co-workers are kind of frown on that. And you have heard them talking about employees who are late and talking about them behind their back in a sort of negative tone. And you think yourself, that's not good. I don't want to be that guy, so I will change my behavior. Maybe you go from being a protege to a mentor. Now you're no longer being mentored. You're actually a mentor yourself. And maybe in the metamorphosis stage, you're actually engaged in a conflict resolution. You help people overcome issues in the workplace. You are acting as a mediator, arbitrator, or inquisitor. So you go through these 3 stages in every job you have, and these stages can be longer or shorter. Let's hope that the encounter stage is rather brief, and you quickly go into the metamorphosis stage. But encounter stage may be a lengthy stage for some people, and the pre-arrival stage could be a rather lengthy stage with other people. So it's different for all people in all companies with all jobs. This table summarizes how an organizational culture is established and sustained. The original culture derives from the founder's philosophy and strongly influences hiring criteria as the firm grows. The success of socialization depends on the process of matching new employees' values to those of the organization in the selection process and on top management's commitment to socialization programs. Top managers' actions set the general climate, including what is acceptable behavior and what is not. And employees sustain and perpetuate the culture. And this is all for this lecture. See you next time.